I want to take this opportunity to say a special thanks to all of you. My family cannot find the words to express how happy we are for all of the kindness that has been shown to us these past few days. And I heard Reverend Dumas is in the building. There's always been a dispute in Macon who was the greatest preacher, but when it comes to the biggest, we never argued. Listen, nobody knows about this pain but a person who has experienced it. I thought I was hurt when I lost my mother, but this was the worst pain I ever had in my life. But when Chief Bells came to my house, he sat there several hours. I asked him, I said, "Don't you have a police department to run?" He said, "Don't worry about that, I'm with you." I didn't share this with nobody but him. I said, "Chief, Saturday night, I was praying, and I was saying why. Yes, I did. And I asked God to visit me. And I wanted to stay in my room where Aric and I always met, in my study. And I wanted God to let me hear from him and hear from Aric. And about 5:30 in the morning, I know it was 5:30 because when I heard it, I woke up and looked at the clock. He whispered to me as clear as he could be, "Dad, I'm all right." The voice left me. I woke up. But then there was an inward voice speaking. And do you know what it said to me? God said, "I have given you your sermon." I said, "What is it?" All I could hear was, "Now you know how I felt." And I told the chief. He said, "Flemming, that's your sermon." I said, "It has to be." All I could hear just walking around was God saying, "Now you know how I felt when I gave my son." You know, this morning, I said I wasn't going to stand no more than 5 or 10 minutes because I know if I had gone, Aric would not have allowed anyone to stand over me. We had just that close fellowship. And I owe it to him to stand here. Yes, I'm hurting and I'll cry. I'm not superhuman. I tell my wife, "Cry." We're not superhuman. Jesus was better than we are, and he cried. But in your crying, don't stop. Some folk will cry and stop. I've seen my mother cry, but she kept on washing dishes. She didn't stop cooking. She was crying but cooking. Cry but keep on going. I turned my Bible to Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 15. And Ezekiel said, I sat where they sat. God said, now you know how I felt. To understand what I'm going through now, you have to go in it. Yes, sir. To understand other people who suffer, you have to suffer. Because ain't nothing promised to you. What is into the day's womb is subject to have a miscarriage. You help yourself. Go on, help yourself. Everything you have, you can lose it. Yes, sir. And I thought about it. Job, when he lost all his children at one time. Now, you know, if a whirlwind comes in a city, it knocks down a whole lot of houses. But I read where it only hit Job's house. It was a whirlwind with Job's family name written on it. When God gets ready to come to your house, you got a wind with your name on it. Tell me. It's for you to learn. Can you sit where others are sitting? I sat where they sat so that I could understand my people. If deacons could sit where preachers are sitting, you wouldn't be so jealous and so hard on the pastor. Listen. If pastors could sit where deacons are sitting, they wouldn't be so difficult to listen when they want to talk to you. If those in the choir could just sit where the one leading the song, you wouldn't laugh at them when they mess up. If the unlearned and the learned could change places, you that are braggadocious, looking down on the unlearned, if you could just sit where they're sitting, you wouldn't look down on them no more. You will understand what it's like to be in a state of ignorance. And nobody want to reach down and help you. If the white man could just sit where the black man has sat and know what it's like when you've been taught all your life to hate yourself. And know what it's like when you've been dehumanized. And no privileges to go to school. Then you wouldn't look down on the black race when they say, I ain't going. You would understand that a race that's been crippled, you can't expect the same out of them from a race that has never been crippled. And if blacks could understand whites, that is within human nature sometimes just to hate something. Racism is just not only among white, but it's among black folks. It looked like we just got to hate something. When I was at Morehouse, Spelman girl wouldn't speak to Morris Brown boy. That's racism. Then we would be compassionate to the whites that are trying to learn how to accept us when they've been taught to hate all of us. We must sit where others are sitting. Oh, if we could just take places. Do you know why you don't understand some people? Do you know why you can't cry when others are crying? Do you know why you look down on people when they're not up to your standard? You haven't been where they are. But when you sit where others are being, you gain knowledge of them. The Lord wants you to go through something so you can know. Yes, sir. There's a lot of folk I didn't like. When I got to know them, I found out I could love them. A lot of times you don't like people because you don't know them. And you say, well, why did she marry him? Knowing he ain't no good. It's something she know. Jesse James had a wife. Yes. A criminal, but he slept with a woman who knew him. You must know people to love them. Knowledge is power. If you don't love a person, try to get to know her. That's right. Glory to God. You know, when you know something, you don't mind taking the pain. A woman will walk around with a baby in her womb, and the baby kicking, and she's hurting, but she's not mad. When Aric was in his mother's womb, I was excited, and he was kicking his baby. And when he was kicking, she was just hurt, and I said, God, Virginia, go to the doctor. And she would be just hollering, oh, he just kicking. And then it came to me. I said, well, why you don't want her to go to the doctor? She said, because every time it kicks, it's a sign of life. If there's no kicking, then go to the doctor. That woman doesn't mind that baby kicking with pain because she knows something. That the pain means life. You got to sit where others are. I close this thought. The Lord said, you know now how I felt. You've been preaching about me dying. Been preaching about my son on the cross. But now you know. And this morning, all I could think about was God so loved the world. Yes, sir. When the man said God, he presupposes the fact that there is a God. Yeah. Because of for God, I'm standing here this day. No, I don't understand this because I'm just dust. Yes. Dust ain't got no business arguing with eternity. Because dust is wrapped up in time. If time won't argue with eternity, what right does dust? You'll never understand God.
No.
If I could understand him, he wouldn't be God. He's incomprehensible. He's immutable. He's transcendent. My finite mind cannot comprehend such cosmological complexities. When I was a student in Morehouse under this man and another man, Dr. Parker, they taught me a course, Philosophy of Religion. And I will never ever forget Philosophy 101, where Immanuel Kant, Descartes, the argument of necessity, cause and effect, the unmoved mover. And all of the great philosophical minds of the past tried to argue about the existence of God. But nobody can explain God. God so loved. So mean that's as far as you can go. Can't go no further than so. You can love some people, but then you can love them so much you give them your rent money. God so loved the world, he didn't send a committee. God so loved the world, he didn't send Gable. The word so mean, I can't tell it. I have to express it.
Yes, sir.
God so loved. He said, Flemming, do you know now how I felt? God so loved the world that he gave. Some folk can give without loving, but you can't love without giving. God is a big giver. He gave his son.
Yes,
And that's what he wanted me to tell you.
yeah.
He wanted me to tell you from now on, Flemming, tell the people that I love them. When I take away what you love, I love you more. Because I gave my son, who made your son, when I didn't have to. I always love people when they give you something that they don't have to do it. God didn't have to do nothing. God could have put the gospel in the throat of a bird. He could have sang it out. God could have put it in the mouth of a dog, and the dogs could have barked it out. But God wrapped it up in human flesh, born on the silent night, holy night. The word became flesh. God didn't have to do it, but he did it anyhow. Flemming, do you know how I felt? Yes, I know, Lord, because you gave me your only. A lot of folk will give you something, but they won't give you their only. Some folk will lend you some money, but not their only dollar. Some folk will give things for you, but not the only. But when a man gives you his only mean ain't nothing left. God said, I gave you all that I have. God so loved the world.
Come on. Not him.
Gave his only son.
Yeah. That's what he wants. That's what he wants.
Tell him I gave.
He wants that. He wants it.
1900 years ago.
He wants it.
And all I could think about was Jesus dying on Mount Calvary. Fleming, do you know how I felt?
Oh, man. Preacher.
Put an old cross on my son's shoulder. Fleming, do you know how I felt? He was rising and falling. Represent a rising and falling generation. Fleming, do you know how I felt? They laid him on Mount Calvary, hung him on an old rugged cross, and he died. He died. I know he died. I could see how God was feeling now when his son was hanging on the cross. Nature had a cosmetic fit. Ain't God all right? The moon, silver queen of the night, picked up a garment, tipped behind the curtain of darkness, had a judgment hemorrhage, and went down in blood. And the sun, silver queen of the night, king of the day, said, I can't sign. Ain't no need of two suns shining at the same time. While Jesus is shining, sun said, ain't no need of me shining. The sun refused to shine. And the dead folk got up to watch him die. Ain't God all right? He died. Do you know how I felt, Fleming? He died for your mother. He died for your father. He died for you, Aric. He died for everybody here. But early, one Sunday morning, early, one Sunday morning, early, one Sunday morning, tell him I say he got up out of the grave. One of these days, Aric gonna get up. I know you're all right, Aric. You're walking the streets of gold, swinging on the pearly gate. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Say, hold your ranks now, hold your ranks. Everybody say, everybody say, amen. Keep on. Hold right where you are. We're going to be respectful to this family and keep our ranks right where you are. Let the ministers from the platform and the family keep their tone. We are going to Satellite Restaurant when we return. not to my house, but to Satellite, who has opened the doors to us.
All right, we're going out the right way now. Let's stay in here and let them get out. And we hold ranks right here. Preachers on the platform and the family. And the rest of us, we're going to say, everybody say, everybody say, everybody say, amen. Yeah. Oh, I'm glad about it. So glad. So glad. Amen. Amen. Now, Mount Carmel, if you really love your pastor now, you really love your pastor, you really love your pastor, you really love your pastor, let's hold rank for him now. Every Mount Carmel member, hold rank for him and his family down this aisle. We ain't moving out of here because we love him. We're standing right where we are to make it easy for the family. If you love him, hold right where you are. All right? Stay right there. I'm right here with you. I'm right here with you. So come and go with me to my Father. Yes, to my. Come on and go to my. Why don't you come and go with me to my. There is joy, joy, joy.